Hello guys, and welcome to my new video, and today we're going to talk about the gubernatorial elections that will happen in 2026. Okay, we're going to do a new update on our prediction. As I said in a comment of the video of Tuesday's video, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to have each video about the Senate and about the gubernatorial races each 2 weeks, and each month, at least right now, we'll have an update of about the House, especially because of all the redistrictings. It's still tough to say who's going to control the House because we don't know if the Republicans are able to redistrict Florida and Ohio, but we just got in massive news yesterday for Democrats especially. The Republicans failed to get a vote a majority to get past a new map in the state of Indiana, okay? Very important news for the Democrats because the Republicans were trying to add 2 new seats to the Indiana map. They already have, I think, 5 out of 7 or 4 out of 6, if I'm not mistaken, or more than that. I'm not so sure. But the Democrats have 1 seat, which is 2 seats. I'm sorry, one in Indianapolis, Marion County, another one here around Gary, Indiana, Lake County. Okay, they have 2 seats. The Republicans were trying to get rid of all the 2, but they failed at least right now. Texas map is back, so that's another topic for another video. Now we're going to talk about the gubernatorial elections. As you can see here, the Republicans start with 8 and the Democrats with 6 states already, as you can see here. I don't know if this is updated with Virginia being now Democratic, but I don't care about that, to be honest, right now. So Oregon and California will stay Democratic, as you know. Hawaii as well. You would say Illinois. You would say all of here except from New Hampshire and Vermont, because I'll talk about that later, and Minnesota as well. And I think it's just it for the Democrats. And Republicans, of course, win South Dakota, Nebraska, Wyoming, Idaho, of course, Colorado, New Mexico. I just forgot them, I'm sorry. Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, and maybe that's it. And Oklahoma, of course. And I will stay like this. Okay? Why am I staying it like this? Because now it's 17-17, and we have 16 as not toss-ups, but of course Texas will stay red, and Florida, but now 19-17. So we start with Nevada. Nevada has a Republican governor, Lombardo, okay? He's a Republican governor, but in a state that he was elected partially because of the Latino population that was shifting towards the Republican Party. That is changing, at least right now. The data we saw based on the general election in November, also based in many many polls, we're seeing actually that people now, the Latino population, is shifting away from the Republican Party and going towards Democrats for the first time in many years. So this can show something. So this can show some unhappiness in that kind of population because Trump promised to lower prices and all of that stuff, and he's not delivering on that. Because it's impossible to lower prices. I don't know why people promise that. I know it is easy to win elections, but it's not something that it's feasible in reality. I don't know why they're saying that, and why do people believe on that, because that's just BS. But about that, I think Nevada will flip, because was such a close election. Even though Nevada is shifting a little bit to the right, and Trump won almost 4 points, I think, in 2024, it's one of the most Latino states, especially around Vegas. Also, the housing problem in Vegas is brutal. And I think, considering that we have the suburbs here around Reno, and also the suburbs of Las Vegas as well, and the Latino population is shifting, I would say this is going to go blue, Democratic, okay? But not by a big margin, anyways. Then we'll have Alaska. Alaska, I think, will say Republican. Okay, I just didn't select it because we're still in doubt on which the Democratic candidate will be. But I think this will say Republican, so it will be 20 now to 18. So I will talk about Kansas. I will talk about Arizona because this will go Democratic. Okay, Arizona has a Democratic governor, Katie Hobbs. She is running for the election. That's an important point. Kari Lake lost by 17,000 votes in a very close race, as you can see. But Kari Lake is not the best Republican candidate you can get in the state of Arizona. She already lost for governor, for senator. I don't know. Is she gonna run for the House because she will lose again? I don't know. She's not just the candidate the Republican Party should have in Arizona. And if she decides to run again, probably will get the Trump endorsement. But I will think she will lose again. And I think she will lose again, and by a much bigger margin. You saw that in the Senate, Trump won Arizona by almost 6, I think, and or 5 or 6, and Kari Lake lost by 3, I think, or 4. So that means that she's not a great candidate. I don't mean anything about her character, about her person, but she's not into politics, at least in a way that she's able to turn out voters, and especially to avoid vote splitting, because that happened in 2024. Many people that voted for Trump could not vote for Kerry Lake for senator, and they were voting for Ruben Gallego. So this is really the point. The Republicans should think about, and also the establishment should try to pick another candidate. I know it will be hard because Katie Hobbs has a very considerable favorable ratings, I would say. So yeah, it's not easy. Now we would say about Iowa. I will say Republican, okay? Doesn't matter, to be honest. And New York is going to say Democratic, because even though New York could have a potentially competitive race, because Kathy Hochul is not a very popular governor, it's quite unpopular, by the way, and Lee Zeldin was such a strong candidate, and he fell short of about 6 points to winning the gubernatorial election in 2022. I still think the Democrats are able to win, especially because it is a Democratic favorable environment, but it will not be as easy as many people think. Probably below 10, I would say, because Katie Hochul is not a popular governor. She has a lot of problems. She was the one that succeeded Cuomo after he resigned. And yeah, I think New York is starting to be a more competitive state over the course of the last few years, because, I don't know, maybe Trump is from there and maybe he helped a bit the Republican Party there. As you can see, Trump only lost New York by 12, I think. I'm saying only because New York was 23 to Biden, or 21 and a half. I don't know. It's something like that. So I know it's 20 plus. So I would say New York is going to stay blue, but we'll see about that. Vermont and New Hampshire, I think they will both stay Republican, okay? The last elections from Vermont are not these two. So I'm gonna just in a minute. So the last I just brought CNN here because we need to go here. Okay, Vermont. This is the last election from Vermont, and Phil Scott, he won by more than 50 points. So we were gonna have, about the gubernatorial election in Vermont, we will have the first person which that are below 18 in terms of age, of course, that will run for a gubernatorial election. Okay. He's gonna run for this, and he's gonna do. I don't know if we do have polls about Vermont, because Phil Scott is gonna win, but that's just a very point to stand out. We have a below 18-year-old running for governor in Vermont. He's only 14 years old, and that is really remarkable. Okay, only in America, you see, that's the American dream. And in New Hampshire, I think Elliott is gonna win, because I know this is a Democratic state. I know it's a toss-up, but it's more Democratic than Republican in presidential and senatorial levels. But when it concerns the governors, and I think the Republican establishment is quite strong, and Kelly Ayotte won this by almost 9-10 points, and she even won Nashua and Manchester, what are the two biggest cities in New Hampshire, and that it means that probably she's going to win again if she decides to run, or if not, maybe the Democrats have a shot. So we'll talk about Ohio, and I'll leave Ohio for the last one because I think it's the most competitive race here. I think Kansas will flip to red, because even though it does have a Democratic governor, Laura Kelly, I think this is with a new Democratic, not incumbent. I think this will go to Republican for the first time in 8 years, but I think that will be the ultimately result. Also, we have Georgia. Brian Kemp is retiring, okay? The incumbent governor of Georgia. He is a strong candidate. You can see almost 9 points against Stacey Abrams, that ran in 2018 as well against Brian Kemp. And she did incredible in 2018, only lost by about 1.4 points, okay? But I think this time the Democrats are able to catch up in Georgia. I don't know the candidate because we don't know that yet, but when we know that, we can be sure. But right now, considering the situation, considering Trump's approval rating, I think this will get Democratic. If it has a chance of going Republican if the Democrats, if the Republicans pick a very strong candidate in the suburbs and all of that. Otherwise, it will be very, very hard, okay? And then we have Maine, of course, Maine Democratic. I don't know why I didn't select this before, even though the incumbent governor of Maine is trying to run for Senate, so that might be an incumbent retiring. And now we have the big three, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and also Ohio. Why? Because I saw a poll, I don't know, 2 days ago or 3 days ago, that indicates that Vivek Ramaswamy, the Republican candidate for Ohio in terms of the governorship, is lagging behind of the Democratic challenger. So I would say this time This will stay. This will still stay Republican, even though it's very competitive. Okay, I don't think that poll is accurate yet. I think it could go that way if the approval rating and also if the economy goes bad in the next year. But at least right now, I don't think that will happen. About Michigan, I think it will go Democratic, okay, because that's Michigan, and in a deep environment, I think it will go Democratic. Gretchen Schmidt will won by more than 10 against not a very strong Republican candidate, to be honest. And Josh Shapiro is going to win in Pennsylvania another time, probably by a smaller margin, because even though he's popular there, I think that Republicans will choose a better candidate, Doug Mastriano. I think he was not a very great candidate, to be honest. Also, the Republican establishment gave up on him quite early. I think that was also the key point for him to lose the election. But yeah, I don't think he was ever going to win at any time, at any point. But probably this would have been closer if the Republicans actually did something and actually help him. So I think this will stay Democratic. And also we will have Wisconsin. Okay, the closest state I think in 2024. Trump only won by less than a point, and I think the Democrats will stay with the gubernatorial place here, even though Tony Evers, the incumbent, is retiring. So that means that a little bit of the problem, a little bit of ambiguity, but I still think this will go Democratic, okay? So this is the prediction so far. 25-25, amazing, love this. 25 Democrats and 25 Republicans, considering I think the results we have right now. I think Virginia is blue in this map. I'm not so sure about that. I can count if you want, but we're gonna have elections also for the gubernatorial races in Mississippi, Louisiana, I think in Kentucky in 2027. That will change this because Kentucky will probably go red that time, and Andy Beshear is gonna probably lose that race. But that's topic for the next year, not for this year, okay? So, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Don't forget to leave your like as well. And we'll be back on Sunday with another video. Don't forget, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Always Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Thank you, and see ya.